Hey, good morning. I'm out here this morning taking care of some stuff before I head out to work. This is my first day back at work after being gone for 7 weeks. Loved it. I'll tell you how that went. But yeah, let me give you all an update about what happened with the tenant damages. You already saw the videos. Hopefully you've seen the videos. If you haven't, go back and click on tenant damages. I just showed you all a picture, or a video rather, of me walking through the property and kind of taking a survey of the damage with my repairman. So this is going to be a little long, and so I'm going to have to break it up into parts. Bear with me because I'm walking my dog, getting him his exercise, and I'm checking out on things that I planted in the ground. I'll give you a look, see if you can see it. I've been planting things. And it's starting to grow. You see that? I'm working on this right here. I'm working on this weekend. It's my herb garden. I don't know if you can see it. And now, getting ready to put more boxes out here because the irrigation system will be done in a couple of days. Okay. So, where do I begin with this? Some of you know that I have investment property that is on Section 8. And a lot of landlords don't like Section 8 because you don't know what you're going to get. You might get some tenants that will sell drugs in your apartment or tear it up, and there's a lot of children. Children create lots of damage, and it's a liability, all of those things. And, you know, Section 8 residents have a reputation for not being the best tenants. Like people, a lot of landlords that care about their property don't rent to Section 8 tenants. And I've always thought that was biased. Now, I know for a fact there are lots of good families on Section 8 because I have a mix in my properties. And a lot of the families, you know, have hit hard times. You have some that are single mothers who, you know, have several children. You have married couples now. Yes, married couples. I know out there in the YouTube land, people like to encourage this idea that you can't be married and be on Section 8. I have married couples in my properties on Section 8. And there's also people who are disabled, people who are elderly. It's all sorts of people. There are people who had good jobs and just, you know, a catastrophe hit them and they just need help. So there's a mix of people on Section 8. And with that, there's a mix of people, or a mix of standards and how those tenants maintain your property. So I try to do, you know, like a three-prong approach when I'm doing my background check, to do the regular reference check to see where the person used to live and the people that they knew. And then I do my credit check to see what's going on with your credit. And then, you know, the third check is I just sit and talk to them. Like not only on the phone, like I'll have them come in to meet me and we'll just sit and I'll observe mannerisms and behavior. And what I'm looking for really is overt aggression, and that's really important. And if I don't have time to go into that in this video, I'll go into in the next one. Overt aggression. So this particular family that was in the unit that you see in my previous 3 videos about tenant damages was run by a single mother who had, I believe she had about maybe about 5 children. Let me see, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, about 3 children living with her, and then like 1 child, and then 2 other children that I didn't even know about that were adult children and teenage years, and they lived somewhere else. And I didn't know about them till later, and this is going to come out why that's important. So when she came to visit me for her initial interview, you know, we had a good conversation. She was very articulate. She was working at a local nonprofit in the area. She had a really nice vehicle. And, you know, I don't ask people how you end up needing Section 8. I just talk to you about, you know, what you're doing now, and make sure you can pay the rent, make sure you have a stable work history. Because even though Section 8 provides vouchers for housing, most of the participants have to pay 30% of the advertised rent and the agreed upon rent between the landlord and Section 8. So this person was working, so she would have to pay 30% of what my rent is advertised for. And so I had to verify that she could pay it easily and pay her utilities, which in this apartment includes electrical and gas and water. So the tenant is responsible for all of that. I take care of trash. Excuse me. And I also take care of lawn maintenance. So we talked about that, and I just started asking her questions about, you know, her life and how she felt about living with other people in a building and neighbor relations, things like that. And there was one indicator to me that she might be a little unstable. But because I always give people the benefit of a doubt, I just kind of ignored that. Because she, ooh, that's weird. Some kind of butterfly or something. Butterflies are out okay already? Anyway, there was some indication that, make sure my dog is okay, that, you know, that she may have a hair trigger temper. Because I asked her a question about the application. I said, well, how soon can you get the application in? And then she shot back, well, how soon can you get it done? With a kind of a tone, and her head was shaking. And I said, And then she recovered really quickly. Like, she started smiling. And, and I was like, what? So I just kind of looked at it, but it didn't happen anymore. And I'm going to admit, I was eager to get somebody in the unit because it had been vacant for 2 months because of my previous tenants who had torn it up. And they weren't Section 8 tenants. They were regular market-driven tenants, and they tore my place up. So I had closed it down, made a lot of repairs, renovations, and I was, okay, I'm losing money. Let's get this rented. So keep that in mind too, because it's really important. So I just told you 2 things. One is, I can't remember the first thing I just told you. Well, one thing is, remember the motivation of the landlord. Think about your motivation as a landlord when you're getting ready to rent. Don't let your motivation affect your ability to sense when something is wrong. And there was another thing I wanted to point out to you all. It'll come back to me. So she did everything, filled it out. The night she moved in, filled it out, passed Section 8, passed all of my background checks, reference checks were great. I was like, okay, this is going to be a great fit. I made everything nice for her. I had some flowers and a gift basket. Yeah, I do gift baskets for my tenants. Had a gift basket with a gift card on the basket so that she could be comfortable and know that, hey, you're welcome here. I know things are a little tough, but you're welcome in your home, and enjoy your home. Make sure everything was smelling good and looking good. She showed up late at night, around 9 o'clock at night, with a U-Haul truck. So something happened. When she was trying to open up the U-Haul truck door, that back door that lifts up, that rolls up. So apparently it was stuck. And so I jumped into the truck and said, let me see if I can help you And all of a sudden, she became just very irritated. And she made the comment, well, stop, stop. What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. And she said this to me. Somebody's trying to help her landlord. And I was like, huh, okay. So I just stopped and I said, okay, I wish you well. And I got in my truck and I came back home to my home. What proceeded for the next, I would say, 7 months was just hellish for me and for the tenant who lived downstairs from her, because she had the upper unit and then there's a lower unit. When you're looking at the duplex, it looks like there's 2 units side by side, but they're not. It's a downstairs and you go up some steps, it takes you upstairs to a porch, and you go into the door up there. Each unit is 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, a living room, a den, and a front and back porch. There's also a laundry room with hookups in it for each unit. It's a very nice unit, along with the kitchen. And I put hardwood floors in, and then you know, and I'm slowly upgrading my appliances. So, you know, I'm really proud of this unit, of both of the units. So I get a call. I get a call from the tenant downstairs saying, Miss Kenya, they all, you know, in the South, they call you by your first name and say, Miss Barbara, Miss Jane, Miss Kenya. So I'm Miss Kenya. And they don't have to call me Miss Kenya. I think it's cute, but you don't have to call me Miss Kenya. But that's respect, you know, Miss Kenya. It's kind of like formal, showing respect, but also personal, because no one wants to go around calling another grown person by their last name that you see every day. You know, I get it. So anyway, Miss Kenya, I don't want to complain, but the tenant upstairs keeps parking in my driveway. And I said, well, okay, did you ask her to move? She said, I did ask her to move, and she cursed me out. I said, you mean cursed you out or blessed you out? Because, you know, and you can bless somebody out but not curse. You can tell them off and not use one curse word. And it matters to me, because to me, that's an indicator of the level of aggression I'm dealing with in someone. And she said, well, she cursed me. She cursed me. And I said, okay. And she yelled and she said, you know, stop rushing me. I'm just taking my groceries out the car. And what's the big deal? I said, okay. And so I said, I'll take care of it. Now, as a landlord, and for those of you who are landlords, you understand this. You don't want to jump on people all the time. Like, you don't want to always just call for every little thing. You hope that people work their issues out, right? Just work your issues out and let that kind of just play out a little bit and settle down and let the emotions go down. You don't just call right away right after somebody has called you, because they're probably calling you right after the incident has occurred. And okay, make sure my dog is back there. They're probably calling you like right after the incident has occurred. And so the other person's probably upset, and now, you know, it's just going to be a mess. So I'm by no means afraid of people, especially my tenants, but I'm wise enough to know that you try to avoid conflict where you can, and you try to give people the benefit of a doubt to work their issues out. Don't let me get involved. Excuse me. Don't let me get involved. You handle your business. Y'all work it out. And then if it hits the fan, I'll step in, right? That was my strategy then. Not now. So I didn't say anything. I had meant to say something, and I didn't. I said, no, let me just see how this plays out. She already told her to stop. Let's see if she stops. She might not park there anymore. Excuse my sneezing. Things are blooming around here. Trees, magnolia trees, pine, the oak, everything is coming up, and I'm starting that sneezing again. Anyway, It happened again. Got another call from the tenant downstairs. She said, Miss Kenya, now her son, who's a member of a gang, had a gun in his hand, and he made comments about we're gonna park where we want to park, and I'm just scared. I'm like, oh my God, this has only been 2 weeks since this lady has moved in. I said, what son? She only has 3 kids. She has a little 5-year-old and a 10-year-old, maybe she's 13, I don't know, and a 16-year-old. Oh no, she has 2 other sons. One just came out of prison, and the other one was being taken care of by foster care, and he's 16, and he's part of the gang around the corner. It's like, I said, do they live there? She said, they're in and out. I think they live there. So now we got somebody who lied about the number of children that they have, who lied about where those children were going to live. One of them, a member of a gang, has a gun, making threats. Okay, now I gotta step in, and this is where it gets crazy.